What is up, everybody? It's me, Jason McIntyre, joined as always by my man Colin Cowherd. The final Monday episode, Colin, of Talk the Line for this season. We made it to the finish line, huh?
We have. We've had some success. I was really bad this year in September, October. We had no preseason, plus COVID.
Yeah.
I thought it took a long time. Rookies didn't really have any impact early. But I thought at the end of the year, we both got our arms around the league, and it was a different league. I mean, we had Baltimore and Tennessee and Buffalo had, COVID drama. So, but it was a great year, and I think we have the two best teams.
Similar to Tom Brady and the Bucs, right? Slow start, and here they are at the finish line. This was the first weekend, Colin. No NFL in 5 months. Did you do anything fun, anything interesting? You gamble on anything, perhaps?
No. I think a lot of the props are interesting. I don't really understand the game line. I'll get into that in a second. But no, I mean, little NBA, got NASCAR coming up. I mean, I think February's about the only slow month anymore, because I think by March you have NFL free agency and March Madness. But I think the Goff-Stafford trade today,
Oh yeah, massive.
It was the biggest story of the weekend.
I wrote a piece for FoxSports.com. I believe the Rams are now the favorites in the NFC. Their betting value went up. They're plus 1,300 to win the NFC next year. Only the Packers and Bucs slightly ahead of them. Any thoughts on the Rams acquiring, what I think is a top 10 quarterback in the league?
Well, I think it makes them better. I think if you look at Fox Bet, you go from third in the division till first. It makes them better, but Matt Stafford, who's been pretty good in his career in come-from-behind wins, but he hasn't won a lot of big games, hasn't won a lot of divisions. The NFC West has really good coaching, and the Rams' pass protection is good, not great.
Yeah.
He's got a few injuries. He's now in his 30s.
33 this month.
So I think he'll make them better with a higher ceiling. But he's going to win the big games. We'll see.
Plenty to talk about in the offseason. Let's get to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 55. We're now, 6 days away? And the Chiefs are currently favored by 3. It's down from 3.5, Colin. Total 56.5. A lot of ways to look at this game. I guess we could start with Tom Brady being, here for the 10th time. Do you think the public, the guys who come in with $20 and $50 bets are going to say, man, let's get Tom Brady, let's get that story, let's win another Super Bowl? Or do you think the public comes in on the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes to go back-to-back?
Well, the line hasn't moved a ton.
Yeah.
So that tells me you're getting play on both sides. I'll be honest, my gut feeling, guessing what the line would be, was closer to 4.5 to 5. So when it was 3 to 3.5, I was surprised. I think Kansas City's the play. I don't think it's much of a home field advantage. Kansas City's won everywhere. They've won 25 to 6. The last loss they had was at home. There are times they've been more dominating away from Arrowhead.
This is true.
So I don't think that matters. I do think Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz being out against the Buccaneers' really good pass rush, that's the line. Yeah. I think, Vita Vea came back. That's another element, another really good player. And I do think that makes the game competitive. I think Mahomes will be rushed regularly.
Yeah, they sacked Aaron Rodgers 5 times in the last game. I do want to ask, this is it happened, I believe, 9 weeks ago. Chiefs played in Tampa against the Bucs, and Tyreek Hill has 200 yards receiving in the first quarter. They jump out to a 27-10 lead, and they don't cover. They push 27-24. But what can you take away from that game and apply it to the Super Bowl, if anything?
Not really. I think Kansas City forces you to play a little out of yourself. Yeah. I don't think you can, it's like when you had the Warriors dynasty with KD, Steph, and Clay. Everybody attacked it differently. You knew what they did, but you attacked it differently. And I think personnel's different. So I think when I look at this game, Kansas City, I feel, can make a lot of mistakes and win. I think Tampa has to play a cleaner game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you told me Tom has 2 picks, I mean, he had 3 second-half picks against Green Bay, and they still won, and I felt they were the better team. I feel like Tampa's got to play a much cleaner game than Kansas City does. I think Kansas City's a more lethal offense. I think they have a coach that's as clever as anybody. Remember, this is Andy Reid off a bye. Yes. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So Andy's the best first-week coach in the league. He's the best coach off a bye. I'm getting essentially Andy Reid off a bye.
Yeah.
Man, he just doesn't lose much.
And you can't forget Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, is the guy who shut down Brady and the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl, the Randy Moss team that was a juggernaut. And, they were able to get to Brady with 4. I wonder in this one, Colin, if we're going to see a lot of blitzing like we saw with Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen was not ready in the AFC title game for the blitz. He didn't know where it was coming from. He had one of his worst games of the season. And if you get to Brady, he's not mobile like Josh Allen. If you don't want Brady getting out of the pocket. That's a nightmare for Tampa. Do you think Tampa struggles offensively? Because remember, they have capitalized on turnovers. 4 from Drew Brees and the Saints, 2 from Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Can Tampa score if they're not getting turnovers from Mahomes?
Well, the over and under is fairly low and tells you that the odds makers, Fox Bet, believes that the defensive lines will be disruptive. Yeah. They're telling you neither quarterback's going to light it up. It's interesting. Every Super Bowl, there's a unit that surprises us, right? Brady's been in all these Super Bowls. He's never had a touchdown pass in the first quarter of any of them, right? It goes contrarian to what you'd think. Kansas City, we're spending so much time talking about Tampa's defense, but it's a risk-taking defense that had holes throughout the year. My gut feeling is Kansas City's defensive line. I think their secondary has played so good. The Chiefs' secondary played so well against Buffalo. If it plays at a similar level, I think Tom's going to have a rough day. I think we're looking at a lower scoring game with the defensive lines forcing the quarterbacks to be uncomfortable for most of the afternoon. And that tells me some interceptions, short drives, playing football inside the 20s.
Yeah.
Remember, outside of the Buffalo game, Kansas City had been on about a 7-week stretch of settling for field goals in the red zone. Yeah. Since week 12, they were 26th, I believe, in red zone offense. So now, Buffalo, they were brilliant. But Buffalo's defense isn't great, and they didn't mount a pass rush against Mahomes. But if you look at what Kansas City had been, they'd been a field goal team. Yeah. That's why they couldn't put away Atlanta late in the year. So now you're facing a highly disruptive Tampa defensive front, and that's the number. That's the over and under. You're going to have a lot of football inside the 20s and a lot of field goals.
From an X's and O's standpoint, we saw Bowles blitz the heck out of Pat Mahomes in that earlier meeting, and he had Tyreek Hill wide open all day. I wonder if Bowles will come off the blitz. Remember, they blitzed the second most in the league this year after Baltimore. Will Todd Bowles send the blitz again against Mahomes and leave his guys on islands? Or does he come back and say, hey, we're going to zone it up, we're not going to pressure him, because we can't pressure Pat Mahomes. Unlike Rodgers and Brees, he's young and can scramble. Do you think Bowles blitzes and leaves his guys on an island again?
No, because I think Tyreek Hill is such a unique dimension. He's not only great, he's so fast. If he gets in open space.
It's over.
I think my favorite part of today's show is this seascape behind us.
A storm is brewing.
I feel like Bob Ross, the late Bob. I love whoever did this, came up with this.
Genius.
It really is. Yeah. Look at this. I feel almost famous when you have a seascape.
Almost famous as the TV radio host. Can we get to the prop bets, Colin? I'm very excited for a lot of these. Let's start with Tyreek Hill, who we were just talking about. MVP of the Super Bowl plus 1,400. Now, there's only been one MVP in the last decade. That was Julian Edelman a couple years ago in the ugly 13-3 Patriots-Rams game. I believe 3 in the last 20 years. Santonio Holmes, Branch from the Patriots. Wide receiver, not a popular MVP pick. Do you think there's any value in plus 1,400 Tyreek Hill?
No.
Yeah.
I think Todd Bowles, who's an excellent defensive coordinator, knows the weakness of his team is corner. Because the safeties, I think, will both be healthy now.
Yes.
So their safeties are pretty good, actually. The weakness of the Bucs is corner. So they're going to ask for a lot of help on Tyreek Hill. They're going to bracket him. And he may still have a good game, but I don't think he'll be the force or the story of the game.
Yeah, it feels like a game where you take away Tyreek Hill and say, we're going to give you 8 and 10 yards to Travis Kelce all day, but we're not giving up 70 yards to Tyreek Hill. All right, let's move on from this MVP to Mike Evans of Tampa. He's been a juggernaut in the red zone. to score the first touchdown of the game. Now, Colin, he did have the first score against the Packers, had the first score for the Bucs against the Saints, and in the earlier meeting against Kansas City, he had the first touchdown. Brady trusts him. Do you think there's anything here? Plus 1250, Mike Evans' first touchdown.
No, I mean, I think it's a pretty. I think Mike Evans is somebody that Tom. You know, if you think about what Tom Brady does in Super Bowls, he usually he plays a very safe first quarter. Tom feels the game out, kind of he frames the game for him. So what is he going to do early on? He's going to run the ball and go to the one guy he trusts, Evans. Mm-hmm. So he did that against Green Bay.
Yes.
What did they do? They ran on the first drive, and he went to Mike Evans. So that's Tom's history. He feels his way through games. He doesn't take huge risks early in Super Bowls. So Green Bay, run it, Mike. Run it, Mike. So I think this is one of the few props I really, really like.
Mike Evans' first touchdown. I would also say keep an eye on the running backs. Remember, when Brady has struggled in the Super Bowl, namely the Atlanta game, I can't handle the pressure. What do? Check it down to James White as much as you can. Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette could be in line for big games. All right, next up on the prop bet board, obviously, Mr. Tom Brady, the ageless one, 43 years old, over under 2.5 passing touchdowns. Now, Colin, looks like if you're betting the over plus 135, that's a good number. I think people are going to jump at that, but that means he's going to have 3 passing touchdowns. I don't know. I don't even know if Tampa's getting to 21 points, frankly. Where are you on this one?
I think the number's right. I would go under, preferably, but it's to me it's a 2 or 3 touchdown game. Yeah. I think we're forgetting how good the Chiefs' back end was against Buffalo.
Don't forget Cleveland. Cleveland had 3 points at halftime. I mean, they took away everything Baker wanted to do.
So I would say I would take the under. I wouldn't bet a ton on it, but that feels more realistic. I mean, the reality is Tom doesn't have to have a great day. Between Gronk in the red zone and between Mike Evans in the red zone, those are just hard matchups. Tom could play poorly and have multiple touchdown passes just because of matchups. Yeah. Remember, is he getting AB back at this point?
I haven't seen the latest on Antonio Brown.
Yeah, but that's, again, yards after catch. Little screen pass to Antonio Brown at the 20, he can scoot in. So that the number feels about right. I think if you say Tom Brady had 3 touchdown passes, instinctively, Brady was great. But that's not necessarily the case. They're a team that has lost confidence in their run game. They may get to the 5, and they may just go to Gronk and Evans. Yeah. So that's why you got to be careful about this number.
And remember, he had 3 TDs against the Packers, but also 3 interceptions and was like 55% completion.
I like the Chiefs in this game.
I do as well.
But I could see Brady having 4 touchdown passes. And they're all short.
Right.
Where he struggles, but they just don't trust Fournette and Ronald Jones inside the 10.
I do believe the most bet on prop every year in the Super Bowl is heads or tails on the coin toss. I'm personally not a heads or tails guy. Colin, I don't know if you are. Do you have anything on heads or tails?
I don't do that stuff. There's people that bet the length of the anthem.
Yeah, that's not bad.
When I go to Vegas, I don't really play games of chance.
Yeah.
I bet sports, which I believe I have a statistical edge.
There you go.
Right. And occasionally, I don't think blackjack is as much a game of chance as people think.
Okay.
I think it's a game of odds, doubling down, splitting, knowing exactly when to do it. I think you can manipulate blackjack a little.
Can you manipulate the Super Bowl? A little.
No, not really.
But you can find some edges. Now, Fox Bet has an interesting final score tally. The producers found this one. It's pretty good. Colin, will the final score, this is plus 100, will the final score be 31-24 Kansas City over Tampa? That lines up with the 56.5, right? We could hit you with numbers.
That feels about right.
Does it?
Don't you think Kansas City 31? That feels about right. It's not the shootout you think.
Right.
Kansas City gets into the 30s, but it's low 30s. Tampa's effective, but I do feel like Kansas City's the play, and I think they're the better team.
100-1 odds. You put some pizza money on that.
100-1 odds if it lands on that.
100-1. That's not terrible. You can make some pretty penny doing that.
All right, I'll do that.
I don't know if Tampa gets 24 points, Colin. I got to be honest. I trust Spagnuolo in that defense.
I think you're right. I think
if you look at Brady's 3 playoff games, Colin, didn't get to 60% completions in any of them. He's 43. Spagnuolo knows him well. You're reading some stuff. Today, they're asking him, Tom Brady, you play until you're 45? Well, maybe longer. Who knows? Come on, Tom. Can we focus on the Super Bowl here? I don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. I thought Green Bay was going to beat Tampa.
I did as well.
If I would have told you Green Bay will pick off Brady 3 times in Lambeau, and Tampa won.
Yeah.
There is a resilience to Tampa. They've just got a lot of playmakers. JPP and Mike Evans.
Let me ask.
They got Ronald Jones is a big pop guy. The Tampa's. Sometimes you just have to look at something and say, like when Kansas City beat Cleveland. Now think about this. If I'd have told you Baker Mayfield was hobbled in the first half and was pulled with 7.5 minutes to go in the third, you'd say Kansas City blew him out by 40. Mahomes was hurt in the first half, pulled early in the third, and they won. You're like, how good is Kansas City? They won on a 38-6 run against Buffalo, the hottest team in the league. But then you look at Tampa and go, it played really poorly in the second half and really controlled the Packers in Lambeau. So what it tells me is these are teams that really are a cut above at this point in the year above everybody else. Right. I mean, to dismantle Buffalo the way they did, and for the Fox Bet to say it's still a field goal game, it tells you Tampa's real. Tampa's a real team.
Crazy. It just hit me. Who has the better roster of players, Tampa Bay or Kansas City? I mean, other than Patrick Mahomes, I don't know that there's a big edge for the Chiefs. I mean, coach is separate. Andy Reid, obviously.
If Mitchell Schwartz and Fisher were healthy, I would say Kansas City. But Wirfs, the rookie right tackle, is an all-pro.
He's been great.
He's been great. So now the O-line, which feels edge to Kansas City, now it's edge to Tampa.
Yeah. Linebackers, Tampa.
Secondary, Kansas City.
Tampa, secondary, Kansas City. This is maybe we're
you know what? But it's you or the seascape.
Yes,
it's got
that's
me
what I am
really
doing. All right, we got a question.
Going either way.
We got a question from a fan, probably a pirate out there. Fire it up. Colin, what is your go-to Super Bowl Sunday snack and drink combo?
First of all, Super Bowl, you have to be clear-eyed, no alcohol. None.
For in-game wagering.
No, I do not. Right? I do not drink during the Super Bowl. I want to be all in on the game. Secondly, I'm a soup guy.
Oh,
I can't be heavy.
I can't
eat it.
Having soup.
Yeah, you can't eat a big meal and be full, and then have a cocktail and just be like.
Soup during the Super Bowl.
I will do a double espresso 5 minutes before the game. I'll do snacks only. Hey, athletes prepare for the game.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a broadcaster. I got to be ready and tight and ready to go.
Are you watch it by yourself so you can lock in and take notes, or are you Super Bowl party floating around chatting?
See, this is worst day of the year in my marriage is Super Bowl. Because of my wife, Ann, she likes
to gather with the.
And I'm like, I don't really love people on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, I need to focus.
I need to focus on the game. I got my dogs. I got a strong coffee, bowl of soup. That's all I need.
And the in-game wagering. All right, for Colin Cowherd, I'm Jason McIntyre.
That's the show.
Great. That's it. We're done.
Hey.
It's over.
The rough seas of Fox Sports.
Colin's got the pirate beard. Can we get this guy a cover of one eye? All right, everybody, enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll talk to you this weekend.
That's so funny.